Cool, let's go. Hello, my name is Alex Masmejean. I'm the founder of Rocket, which is getting a loan against your NFT. I'm also part of Metacartel DAO, Marketing DAO, but today I want to talk about something different, which is how I tokenize myself 2 times. So let's get into it. So just before, let's be clear, a personal token or self-tokenization or tokenizing yourself mean setting a server that's directly pegged to something about your person. So what is the history of the space? So the history of social tokens started super recently. In January 2019, that boy, which is a very, very great designer in the space, basically said, pull up the website, created a token on Uniswap, and said 1 boy equal 1 hour of design work. And so that was super easy, and he was super successful, and now he's working at Dama as a basically full-time employee. Basically this gave birth to the first type of personal token, which is the freelance token. So there's a few characteristics. So it is a scarce supply so that it is manageable on the freelancer side. So you don't get too many inquiries about your work. You get money first and you work after. So this is very nice because independent workers and freelancers, oftentimes they get paid quite late. And this time, actually, the power is reversed to the freelancer because you get your inquiries and your invoices up front. And the third thing is that it's reputation-based price discovery. So you have to be good at selling yourself because your present skill is what determines the price value because it is usually liquid on a decentralized exchange like Uniswap. And so the price can fluctuate. Actually, sometimes the price fluctuates in a nice way because this is a success story. So we say freelance work for hard skills, right? And so Ross Campbell, which is a smart contract lawyer at Open Law, he has a pretty unique hard skill because he's a lawyer and he knows Solidity smart contracts. And so that made this token very high demand because there's not many people who have both those skills. And so, yeah, he just got 17x in 3 months, which is crazy. Like, he gave me 10 tokens of his, and now it's worth like a few $1,000s. That was just a joke to start with, but there is so much demand. And so, yeah, again, supply very scarce, like 150 tokens, I think, for him. So just keep it manageable. But it's not just the freelance tokens. Oh, wait, sorry. So extrapolating the freelance token, there is the DAO employee token or contributor, which is, well, that means that a DAO can collect personal tokens and redeem their contribution. And so this is what's happening with Meta Factory, for instance, a community-owned fashion apparel brand, or same thing, they did a t-shirt, where pretty much they can acquire tokens, for instance, of a designer to design a t-shirt, or of Ross Campbell so that they draft the legal stuff. And so basically this can be the future of work where like there is decentralized autonomous organizations and personal tokens where you just redeem when you need the work from that person remotely. So this is kind of like perhaps like a component of the future of work. But there's another use case, which is selling your potential, not selling your present hard skills, but selling your future self. Like, if someone is gonna probably be wealthy later or be very famous later. So the economics are different here. The supply is much larger, so it can be millions of tokens. It's more long-term VC returns. Ross Campbell did 17x, but it's not going to 1,000x because you're not gonna pay $1 million an hour for his time. And so this time, if you're betting on the right horse, it can be very, very profitable. And so that person can just get the upside of living and sustaining himself or herself while benefiting the long-term investors. But for that token, you need at least a few people excited about yourself because otherwise it will be quite illiquid. So pre-crypto, there was something with income sharing agreements. So this is James Gallagher. He's an extraordinary individual. At 16-year-old, he won Pioneer app. Now he's raising funds for his company. He's incredible. And so he's the stereotype of the social, like the ISA experiment. But he did it without crypto. He was the first person to publicly trade himself. He created a website And so basically, the shareholders, he did something like a DAO before the DAO existed, where people could choose his life because they were invested, right? They wanted to maximize the value. And so, for instance, he asked like, oh, like, can I get a girlfriend? And they were like, no, because we want you to work. And so this is not maximizing the shareholder value. Or like, what should my diet be? And the people said, you should be a pescatarian, so like only eat fish as meat. Because it's like the healthiest and vegan is too hard, whatever. So it was kind of weird. Like I was lucky enough to like talk to James many times, and basically he stopped it because he was like, there was not much value gained. Like I'm too young for maximizing returns. It will be like in 10 years time or something. But that was still a nice experiment. But so a shorter use case for the ISA is just simply the entertainers. So this is Spencer Dwindley. He did a contract with the NBA for 3 years with his club, 34.5 million. And so he tokenized it so that he could get more money up front. And at the same time, if you think he's going to crush it in the next few years, you might get a decent return for yourself. And so the next, normies / outside of the crypto crowd that we are, is probably the hip hop artists that start on Audius or SoundCloud and who perhaps can become big. This could be also a great incentive for people to try out crypto, just to invest in some of these people. So like a lot of questions around personal tokens is like, oh, can I buy yourself? What happens if I buy your entire tokens? Or like, can I buy some of you? Like, are you a slave? And not really. Like, basically, we are investing, but with consent, which means that we have the right to refuse. So for instance, that boy refuses to work for big oil companies, refuses to work for cigarettes companies, refuses to work for any industries that he does not feel comfortable working with. And so this is the same for everyone else. And so it's not just like money where you give money to someone like you will get the service. It is still up to that person. So agree on terms, refuse is needed, just reimburse the person. That's just how it works for now. So now I'm going to talk about my experience with self-tokenization. So the first time, basically, it was in July last year. I was in San Francisco, and I really wanted to go to Berlin Blockchain Week because I was super excited about Metacartel. I really wanted to join. And so I just did a tweet. Like, I didn't expect anything from it. Like, oh, like if I had the funds, I would probably go last minute. And Peter Pan, which is the summoner of Metacartel DAO, said, OK, I'll do a loan to you. But the problem is there was no incentive for the loan because it was interest-free. So anyway, I made it. It was a really awesome time. This was like Metacartel demo day. I met a lot of Metacartel members that I'm now quite close with. And pretty much what happened is like he told me, OK, like let's tokenize it so that you don't pay me right now because other people will buy the token. And I get the money up front, you're happy, and so do you agree on 10% for a year? And I was like, okay, sure. And so basically what happened is that he published it, and the community saw that, and they were like, oh, like let's help Alex out. And so what happened is that people were basically buying the token and burning the token. So Jordan from Aave, he's here today. He bought all my interest. So now, like, I don't have to pay any interest on that tokenization. So thank you again, Jordan, for this. And then Hamad from Metacartel community again. He burned 100 Alex tokens, which is $110 pretty much after interest. And so this was just a very nice way of the community to reward myself. And then Peter Pan got his money back as well. So everyone was happy. It was really nice, but it was a short-lived experiment. Now, my current token, so I decided to take this further with Roll, which is a company that issues digital tokens. We know it's very easy, right? It's just a ERC20, but this company has like a UX, an iPhone app, so that even my friends and family, which are not in crypto, can still do it. So 10 million supply, so this is clearly, like it says like 25K Alex's an hour, but no one really does it. I'm still a fairly reachable person. I'm really selling the ISA use case, not the freelance use case. And so it's on Uniswap today, alex.bymagic.xyz. And so, yeah, it's more like buying my future potential because There is multiple economics. For instance, I will buy back my token as soon as I can so I can regain control, because perhaps as I grow in my career, people will redeem the 1 hour, and I want to have more free time for myself, so that will make the supply scarcer, and therefore my token will be higher. So actually today I'm doing like a kind of announcement, because I'm announcing Alex to SF. So I will take 1 million Alex tokens to basically get $20,000 so I can settle as a founder in San Francisco. I really think it's a huge city. I have many connections there. I'm getting a visa sorted. And so basically, I want to get $20,000, and let's say in 5 years' time, we can discuss the details later. This is not crystal clear, but perhaps I can give 5% or perhaps 10% of my net worth in 5 years. And if you don't want to wait that long, the investors can just go on Uniswap to sell it at any time before then, because it's liquid on Uniswap today. It's now held by, I think, 150 people, 140 people. So yeah, thank you if there's like Alex holders in the room. So you can DM me like Alex Masmejean on Telegram or Twitter, so we can discuss this. I raised like a few $1,000, but it's not near. It's just like I'm announcing it today. So the future of social tokens. So again, I just announced that I'm raising $20,000, but how do you know if I'm doing good or not? How do you know if I'm on track to make more money or achieve my goals? Well, some people are now pegging it to other metrics. So there is Gyroscope, this app that tracks your health, that tracks your personal KPI, like I will do X thing, I will get X customers, I will do X intros, I will raise X money. Or it's even pushed further by Alex Kern, which is an awesome founder. He sold his company to Coinbase at 19. And so he's got a personal dashboard where you can see what music he's listening to, how much he's been sleeping. You can see his workout routine, and so what projects he's working on. So right now I think he's a CTO into like a mobile audio app in Ethereum. So it's like, yeah, the future peg perhaps is a metric, just like companies are pegged to quarterly reports. Perhaps we could do that with personal tokens. And so, yeah, I mean, let's keep experimenting. It's a very new space, not to be taken too seriously, because we still don't know. There's many use cases left to be seen. So I guess if you're not in a proper company yet, so I am not ready to properly have a company and raise with my company, hence why I'm raising my $20,000 for myself, perhaps it's useful. Or if you have a very hard skills that's very rare and in high demand and you can work remote, that's also a good use case. And so perhaps there's going to be other use cases like, the reputation token, gratitude token. What if Vitalik Buterin issued, a great contributor token and gives it to you? And so now everyone can see on Etherscan that you are Vitalik Great Contributor Token. That's like a huge prestige, right? So many use cases to be seen. And yeah, that's it. I think it's my last slide. So thank you so much. I'm giving right now, if you put your phone, free Alex tokens. I think it's enough to pay for gas if you dump it right now on Uniswap. It's like, I think, $3 or $4. So yeah, I think there's like 20, 25 on this one. So feel free to take some. And so, yeah, happy to discuss it further. It's a very new space. It's quite exciting. And yeah, happy to talk further. If you want to tokenize yourself, happy to chat. If you want to help me raise the 20K, even giving $100 or whatever, I can help you with this as well. It will be done OTC, by the way, I didn't say, but Uniswap, for large amount, there's a lot of slippage. So you'd rather go with me to get a fair, discounted deal. So yeah, that's it. So my token, you can follow me on Twitter. It's basically my life for the past year. And so yeah, so thank you very much.
Do we have questions in the room?
Can we get questions? Oh.
Hi. So how is this governed legally? Because we will buy some token and then you just run away.
So like, I don't like to do like legal hobbyism. I have no clue. So I am in talks with Ross Campbell, who gave me some of his tokens. So I guess I would redeem the Ross Campbell so he can tell me about the legal side. I think, I'm not sure it's a security. I mean, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not sure it's a security because it can go down as well as, it's not like, CDI just always up. So I don't know. It's just like, it's so unclear and it's such a tiny fish in the ocean that I don't think, it's tiny. Perhaps if I raise 4 billion like EOS, that would be a different issue. But for tiny amounts and what I'm doing, I can just argue, it was just like a donations or something, or yeah, we can figure something else.
But how the buyer can be certain you will serve this time he has tokens for?
So it's not hard-pegged, right? This is not slavery. I can refuse if I want to, and if I refuse to everyone, and I'm basically a bad actor in their eyes, they are free to dump the token, my price will decrease, my reputation will decrease, and thus my token will just like, market-based decrease in price. And so that's just it. As long as I'm relevant to people, my value will be up. So it's kind of like speculation, but it's not just branding like Bitcoin. It's an actual person that you can get in touch with, discuss with me. So for sure, it's not hard-pegged. I can run away with the money, right? Will I do it? It will be very bad for my reputation.
Okay.
And what about governance then? How do you do the balance between your private life and the one that of your token holders and the choice of your token
like
holders?
mixing my private and public life?
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, I'm not like a celebrity, right? My private life, I don't think, it's fine. Like, yeah. Perhaps for celebrities, it will be different. I'm not gonna do the DAO life decisions. So if I raise the $20,000, I can update on some figures of what I'm doing to the shareholders, but I'm never gonna let them decide whether I should have a girlfriend or not. So my private life is me, and so this is just about my professional output as a founder, doing application layer Ethereum applications, and it's not about my private life. No, yeah.
This has given me an idea that could be used really to pay people within companies, like your colleague. How useful is it? How much time do you want him for in a meeting, for advice, or driving a project?
For sure. So the company Roll that issued my token, they have as investor Gary Vaynerchuk, which is like a social media like kind of celebrity, and I think he will issue a Gary token in the next few months, and he will do that. So like you can have a meeting with him if you buy one Gary. Of course, he's very famous. It's going to be very expensive, but yeah, you could do that technically. And so yeah, for meeting, feedback, user testing, anything that represents someone's time, you can do that. And it's not been done. So, the space is very unsaturated. It's not like wallets or blockchains, right? There's nobody in the personal token space. We're perhaps like 30, not even, yeah.
Well, I meant for HR.
For HR?
For HR within a company.
Oh, as a metric to qualify the price of that person?
Yeah, to determine payroll and stuff.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's a freelance price, so there's a premium, right? As an employee, you work way more hours, so your output per hour is probably cheaper. But yeah, I get it. It's a nice metric to see how much that person is worth, also what transaction did that person do, like who did it work for, or did she work for? Yeah, that could be very interesting to see. Yep. Is that it?
Do we have another question?
Another question. Yo, what's up?
So what guarantees me to 5 or 10% of your net worth if I buy 20,000 Alex tokens?
What guarantees do you get? So,
or how do you guarantee it?
So there is two incentives. The first one is I will, in 5 years' time, we can discuss how many percentage of either my net worth or my yearly salary I can give back as, I can airdrop it as like a reward for these people. Plus, my supply will get scarcer because I'm looking to create some kind of demand, And also, I don't want to give my time away because it's also redeemable for my time. And so, as I want to get more time for myself, I can just buy it back. The demand will be scarcer, and so on Uniswap, the price will just go up so that people can just dump on it. Right now, it's pegged, I think, to 25, 30 ETH right now on Uniswap, but there's way more liquidity that I hold in my personal wallets. So, yeah. So there's the ISA model. And perhaps to be even more incentivizing, it will be like, I will drop my salary of my revenue in 5 years' time, not withdrawing the tokens. So they get this as a bonus, plus they can sell the Alex tokens and redeem the reward. So I'm really trying to make it so that the people who bet on me today will be rewarded in the future, for sure.
We have time for one last question over there.
Hey, Alex.
Hey.
Shut up, man. Yeah, thanks for the talk. I mean, it's a really interesting idea. I have like 2 questions, which are a bit mingled. The first one is that like what you've shown us today could lead to like too much metrics on people, like inside a company or even on say personal life or something, and it could lead to a lot of scams or a bubble, as we've seen like end 2017, early 2018 on companies, but then on people right now. How do you feel about that personally?
You're talking about people?
Yeah,
The
like
app?
a bubble on people and like, like getting a lot of metrics on people's life, and some companies then like taking it as like the normal way to pay for people and for the time, that it can be dangerous, like human can be like consumed and not only be consumers. Like, how do you feel personally going toward like this kind of pervert, in my opinion, side
I don't
of,
think it clashes with the Peepo token. Like, for instance, I did a Peepo video, which was basically giving a link to all the Peepo watchers of that video to redeem that token. And it was redeemed pretty quickly. So I guess my token is like a meta token on all applications. So sure, I believe in Peepo because it's like the future. Like the future of social media is probably 1 like equals some amount of money. And so this is what the Peepo coin is doing. And so I get it. This will be the future of social media. My token is just on top of all of them because I can use my tokens into any application. So I did it on Twitter. I can do it on Peepo. I can do it on other platforms. So I would say it's on top, and it's like just another layer, the personal layer. And then there's the social media. They can have their own incentives, but yeah. So does that answer your question, or?
Not really. Anyway, we'll have the time to discuss
cool,
it together.
We can discuss it
yeah,
later.
so we have to have a...
Thanks.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank
Alex.
you. Thank you, sir. Okay, okay. Merci.